yesterday's stream proved to me that you do want to manifest the life you desire. But we can't change the past. We can't live in the past either. So things that happen in the past, they can be hurtful. They can be life altering. They can be pretty traumatic. But accepting that as part of who you are as a person is vital. Loving yourself for who you are right now is vital. We're thanking the universe for getting us this far. So we're actually giving the universe power to get us to where we want to be. Now, last week I asked people to create their vision boards. Some of you may not have been in last week's stream, so I'll just recap. A vision board is a pictorial or a picture representation of what you wish. Now, I've had a lot of comments saying that my rings are awesome. On my vision board is actually a specific ring. And, you know, some people would say, well, why at 55 are you bothering trying to manifest marriage? It's like, it's what I want. Some people might not want it. But in a pictorial representation, if you're wanting a committed relationship, having something that evokes the feeling of a committed relationship is important on your vision board. So if anybody has created something they would like to manifest that we can work on together, I never self-promote. If people have actually seen my streams, they know that. My accuracy when I do the reads is up to you. I don't profess to be all-knowing when it comes to manifestation. What I manifest in my life is not going to be what you manifest in yours. And I want this stream to be about you, all about you, nothing to do with me. So feel free to pop up something that you have been trying to manifest or would like to manifest. And I'm sure that we can work on it together because my chatters are awesome and knowledgeable as well. And with that in mind, if this gets going as I imagine it, as I envision it, it will be a group of people who actually are excited for each other. I'm not doing this stream to actually get information from you. That is the furthest thing from my mind. I've always said that I delight when my followers are in bliss and don't need to come back for readings anymore. You know, that might not happen. Star Booty, thank you for the hydrate. You got your manifestation, didn't you, Star Booty? The law of attraction worked for you. That much I know. But I know that through the readings. But that's not the purpose of this. And I love you for it. One of my very first followers, Star Booty, so thank you. I sit in gratitude all the time. If I wanted to, I could sit in the pain, but the pain of my life is not who I am. And yeah, as I said, I can use myself as an example, but is it going to get you, my followers, my loyal followers? This is my gift to you. Normally I would run workshops on this and be paid for it, but I'm not expecting payment. I just want to give back to my loyal followers. So feel free to pop up with what you're trying to manifest in life. And We do have a winner, by the way, of the mystery object I found while I was gold detecting. And yes, I did find gold. This is actually glass that was thrown in a fire in and around about the 1850s, 1860s. It was thrown in a fire. The fire got so hot it melted the glass. And I haven't cleaned it up yet, but I think if I clean it up, I'm still it is a pretty piece of glass. But once I clean it up, I think I'm still going to keep it as part of my crystal collection, because it's something I didn't expect to find. I did find zircon and I did find gold. So for those of you that don't know what zircon is, it's a premature diamond. It's the start of a diamond, but it got thrown out of its geode before becoming a diamond. And the zircon that I've found is actually red. So it's the rare stuff. And did I manifest it? Yes, I got excited about going gold detecting, even though it was a friend's hobby. It wasn't my hobby. And if I hadn't have got excited about what may have happened, I don't think I would have been putting out to the universe that I wanted to find gold. So part of manifesting is getting excited about what you're trying to achieve. And what you're trying to achieve is going to be very different to myself. So it's up to you to put that out there. If I don't know what it is, I can't direct you on a different way of approaching it. However, I do know that manifesting steps can be easier for some people. I do know that myself, I want home ownership, but on a vision board, home ownership is actually putting up a house. And choosing the picture was a bit of a challenge for me because there are certain things I would need in a house that I owned. And I would like it to be in the Aussie bush. If you haven't heard me talk about the Aussie bush, you're not missing out on much. It's just that I like it. One of the other things I was manifesting was that my travels would become more frequent. This week has taught me that even manifesting for the greater good, if you want to put it that way, can prove to present obstacles. Yes, I've manifested for the greater good, but I now have 2 regions within Australia that are far apart that I need to visit. And there are people that are waiting on bookings and working out times, and that was part of what today's busyness was about. It was about being time poor, and I had 3 appointments in one day, which is really unusual for me. I'm likely to have 1 appointment a day, and that's the way I choose to approach the days, and I have to navigate everything else around those. So for me to have 3 in one day, am I exhausted? Yeah, particularly after finishing at midnight last night. It's 6 p.m. now, and I do know that the stream may not go very long, but for those of you who were in last week's stream, hopefully you have come up with a vision that we can work on. It doesn't have to be magnificent. It doesn't have to be altruistic. Oh, Star Booty, you are awesome. Seriously, I never thought an Aussie voice would do well internationally on radio. But there you go. I'm putting out an opinion of mine as being the opinion of others when I have no idea what opinion you guys have. All I know is what I know within myself. And for me to project that onto others, I'm doing other people a disservice. So, and it comes to the universe as well. If we're predicting how things are going to happen, I'll rephrase that, because I was saying manifesting steps isn't a bad thing. But if we've got a vision and we're predicting how the universe is going to deliver that vision without breaking it down into manifesting steps, we're saying to the universe that, okay, I'll only accept it if it comes that way. And you might have a very narrow view of how it will come. But it's like I said the story yesterday about the guy that had broken down in the Aussie bush and was waiting for, in Victoria it's called RACV. I do know in the US it's called AAA. And 3 different modes of transport passed this person by. And this person kept saying no. And all 3 would have got this person to a safe place. But instead, the guy on the side of the road was waiting for AAA that never came, died of thirst in the Aussie heat. And it's the old-fashioned story about the rowing of the boat and passing by, a crocodile passes by and says, jump on my back. And the person thinks, no, that's too dangerous, I won't do that. And in the end of the story is, well, God sent you 3 different ways of achieving your goal, and you said no to all of them. So how they present is very different to what you may expect. And it's removing those expectations from our vision. I have expectations on how people will behave around me or behave towards me. And those expectations are my boundaries, and I'm more than entitled to put up my boundaries. However, when it comes to the universe already is looking over you. You may not feel it sometimes. I look at my past and I think, Karen, how can you still believe in a divine with all the crap you've gone through? And yeah, I've had my down times. Don't think that I've always been cheery. But at the same time, I can see the bliss that is around me. I can see nature at its best. I can see humanity at its best and its worst. And there is no worst as far as I'm concerned, because every story I've heard in my life, there's always a worse one following. And that makes me believe that people can survive and thrive given horrible backgrounds. And one of the things I say to myself on a regular basis, having just cut back my roses, and I'll show you, I cut myself really deeply. I don't know if it's going to show up now. No. There you go. I chopped back my roses. It's Aussie winter, so my roses needed cutting back. And I'm always grateful that my thorns have roses. So you reverse it. Yeah, thorns are probably the worst part about roses, but they come with the rose. So I'm always grateful that my thorns have roses. And another rose analogy that was given to me many years ago by a mentor of mine in my profession was that the most beautiful rose will grow when its initial root system was piled with manure, or in basic terms, piled with shit. So think about it. If your past has had trauma, yeah, there you go, Lady Pallas Athena. If your past has had trauma, think of it as fertilizer for your future. It is fertilizer for your future. Your future hasn't happened yet, and you can make it. Oh, now I'm quoting Back to the Future. Your past hasn't happened yet. You get to make your future what you want it to be. Why you can't see it? You feel doomed. The only person that can actually change that is you, Lady Pallas Athena. Look at the appreciation and encouragement that you've got within streams. And no person, no matter what their background, knows your story. And yet there are these total strangers that want to encourage you. To me, that's a reflection of the universe doing good. And having people have faith in you is always a positive. But just understand, the most beautiful roses grow when their roots are covered in shit. And that helped me. Not necessarily, you never accept past trauma. You never ever accept it because it's bad behavior from someone else. You learn to look at it as a way to grow, as a way for that planted seed to have that fertilizer. And quite often, and I've seen it happen throughout my years, the people that have had the crap in their past tend to bring about manifestation more quickly. And that can actually be that it is a fertilizer. It is the universe's version of a garden fertilizer. So your crops in the future, whatever seeds you're planting, your crops in the future are already fertilized. Get together a vision board of how you want your life to be. And yes, I do have a vision board. My vision board it's not full. You don't have to make it full. Lady Athena, if you want to feel excitement, maybe get a picture of a Ferris wheel with lights around it and stick that on your vision board. Because to me that evokes happiness. Like, as I said, I can't help you with manifestation unless I know what you're trying to manifest. But find something that brings joy. If you're trying to bring joy into yourself, get a picture of something that evokes the feeling of joy. And Lady Athena, it can be that simple. I remember that I was miserable once. And when I say miserable, I mean really, 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 really miserable. Lady Athena, if you're wanting to explain your past, then I would say no. It's better that I don't know. For future readings anyway. But I like this space because it is a public forum where we don't have to live in the past. We can live in our daydream future. And our daydream future can be as beautiful as we want to make it, or what is beautiful to us. And I look at myself in the mirror every day. Yeah, right down the carousel. And that may be your goal. I can remember, that's what I started saying, I can remember a time where my life was pretty miserable. And I had to really work at being happy. It was like, even when someone told a joke, I found it difficult to laugh. I found it even difficult to smile. And it took a lot of work to get to the joy part, but I was fortunate that I was surrounded by friends that did not give up on trying to make me laugh. It became their mission. And their mission came about. I ended up being a bit more carefree. Able to laugh at myself, able to laugh at things that my past had brought into my life. And yet, you sometimes don't get to a place where you accept it because it's bad behavior from someone else. You get to a place where you incorporate the lesson of it. And the lesson of it might have to do with working on trust. And to me, I have a picture in mind where if I want to invoke trust, I tend to put up a picture of a bank. And sometimes you can get it online where you can get a picture of a bank vault. And to me, that invokes a feeling of trust and security. And whatever you're feeling can come about. I also feel that when you're in a low place in life, gratitude can sometimes be difficult. Being grateful for things can be really difficult. So having a journal where you can write down and make it a daily mission where you write down the things you are grateful for. You may actually only wake up. You may wake up still feeling doomed, but you wake up. And the nightmares might get less. So be grateful for waking up alive. Be grateful for less nightmares. I know there are people that are saying when you focus on the problem, you're not focusing on the solution, but less of something can sometimes be what you're wanting to bring about. So acknowledge it. And acknowledge that it is a part of, I think last week I went into physiology. We can't change physics. Physics is the law of the natural world. So it's the law of the world we live in. And we pretty much cannot change it. And that's being very basic. I do know that because there are quantum physicists who believe in the law of attraction for different reasons, but they do believe. And in believing, they can bring about different things. For example, I am blessed to live in a time when psychic and intuitive phenomena can be investigated scientifically. There was a time when it was, burn you at the stake. Thank goodness that that doesn't happen anymore where I live anyway. I cannot speak for the rest of the world. I cannot speak for anybody else's experience with. I don't usually use the term supernatural, but I'll use that for brevity at the moment. It's just we live in a time of great advancement. For most of you, you may have heard me say that I do have a spinal condition. I live in a time where there is actual medication that can not get rid of, but alleviate to a great extent the pain I experience. There was a time where there wasn't even aspirin. People took sulfur to try and cure their ills. And yes, there are native peoples that knew plants to take, but for the major part, those native peoples were ignored when there was no other alternative. I do know that belladonna in minute, I'm talking really, 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 really minuscule amounts, can actually relieve pain, even though it is highly toxic. So I don't advocate taking belladonna, but there are certain native peoples that knew the right dosages. And unfortunately, the way the world has worked, people were ignoring those native peoples. And humanity as a whole has grown immensely since then. Sometimes not for the better. Sometimes it's been at the expense of others, which is a sad thing. I always have a global thing as part of my manifestation, part of my vision board. I always have a global thing. One of my global things has actually come to pass, and I've had a vision board for many years. My best friend from university was not able to get married because he was gay. And I've been fortunate enough, even though he's now in heaven, I was fortunate enough to attend his wedding. And when that came about, the celebration that I was able to join in with my best friend, and also as a community, I was able to join in that coming together of enlightenment, because there was so much stigma surrounding gender identity, and it didn't need to be there. I'm like, I would rather see a human being, regardless of gender identity, be involved in the community, be absorbed, be happy, than know what their gender identity is. Because seeing that brings joy. Now, for you, it may be totally different. And if it doesn't bring joy, try and eliminate it from your life. If you can't eliminate it, create a jail cell in your mind where that can live, and I've used the jail cell thing in my mind quite successfully for a long time, and it does work. I was skeptical about it when somebody told me. I was skeptical. Oh, that couldn't work. But if you actually see yourself using that part of your brain, having a jail cell and locking whatever it is that harms you emotionally into that mental jail cell, it actually works. Give it a try. I'd like to see if anyone gives it a try and get back to me on it. But back to chatters. I would love to see somebody come up with their vision board. Or at least one thing. At least one thing that we can all work on. And even now when I'm only doing manifestation, if I go into the chat to see who's in the chat, I get bombarded with energies that come at me, and tuning in actually takes a lot of my energy, which is why I haven't done another tune in after such a massive day yesterday. Still didn't work. There we go. That's better. I'll put that back there. No. There. Yes, I do keep pyrite. Funnily enough, I've always kept pyrite. My phone just clicked for some weird reason. Okay. There we go. I think I've found where it clicked. And I'm a lover of music, so I'm still doing my shout outs through manifestation, because the only reason I mention that is I'm doing a shout out to a music person. There we go. And for me, it is passing on how grateful I am that Twitch is a community rather than just a streaming method. And yes, welcome in Lightseeker. I am actually doing manifestation stream today. I did it last week and asked people to come up with things they would like to see on their vision board and how to actually bring about those things that they wish for themselves. Because I've had so much success in my own personal life that I want to pass it on to others. Okay, Lady Pallas Athena has actually come up with independence, being happy alone. Oh, that's a good one. Confidence and being successful, being to buy stuff, to be sufficient. I like the way you've worded that, Lady Pallas Athena, because most people would wish for money, and you've actually wished for what will bring you that. So being self-sufficient, not having to rely on anyone, and being happy with yourself. It is like so many people would say, no, I want somebody else in my life to make me happy. Nobody can make you happy, but definitely get the carousel picture. If you can, or a Ferris wheel picture. Well, there you go, then do the pictures yourself. Lady Pallas Athena, having creative ideas to do art, that is amazing. If you can incorporate that in your desires, for example, I wouldn't know where to find a picture of a carousel or a picture of a Ferris wheel with lights around it. But if you also have creative ideas, why not make your own pictures for your own manifestation, like your own vision board? Because to me, that would be awesome. Your energy is going into the creating of the pictures, as well as your energy going into ideas you have in creativity. And I know people create in different ways. I wouldn't wait for the eureka moment. You've already had it. Do the pictures yourself for your own vision board. And confidence, I hate to say this, but confidence to me is like player energy. And player energy is so different though. Player energy disregards others. But the actual, for example, tarot cards that would indicate a player to me are those confidence building things. So that's a way of representing confidence. But you can start with a simple journal where you write down how you see yourself, if those are achieved, and write them down as if they have been achieved. And the more you write them down, the more you will start to feel empowered. The more you write down how grateful you are, the more you will feel empowered. And it's all about empowering you. Like, I know what I do to empower me, but that's me. I'm a different person. Yeah, Lady Pallas Athena, you, from what I see, you have the ideas, the insight. Use your creative art. Yeah, use your creative art to create those pictures that represent that light. Because I can almost see your eyes sparkling as you think of this. And the eureka moment, I love that, because Australia was built on something called the Eureka Stockade. And having come back from gold detecting, yeah, there you go. You're starting to feel the little sparkle. I'm excited for you because I believe your love of art will actually help you create a vision board that does sparkle. And the more you write it down, even if it's repeating the same thing tomorrow as you did today, keep repeating it. Until you achieve it, keep repeating it. And eventually your little sparkle will grow into confidence. So as I said, I've been blessed along life's journey and I want to give back. So please feel free to put up anything. In my opinion, there is no such thing as a silly question, only a stupid answer, which I hope I don't give. I really hope I don't give. Let's see if I can succeed. I hope I can succeed. And the only person that you should be comparing yourself to, like, I had somebody in one of my manifestation workshops say they used a picture of Donald Trump because they wanted to be successful. And I'm like, but it's not you. Yeah, Trump. They wanted to use, this was before Trump was president, by the way. They wanted to be a property mogul. And I'm thinking, well, I'd be picking somebody that may not be well known, because didn't Trump have to declare bankruptcy like 4 times? And they thought about it for a little while and then said, oh, yeah. And I said, but you know somebody that is a property mogul. Why don't you get their picture? Because they're a successful one. And I was doing an inspirational workshop for people in the real estate industry. And I said, but you already know somebody who is successful at that. Pick a photo of them to put up on your vision board because they've been successful at it. Pick their brain. Find out what they had to do to get their first investment property. Find out what they had to do to develop it. Get as much knowledge as you can before you go jumping off the dive board. And I'm not saying that does. To me, everybody in our lives can be an inspiration. I was only talking yesterday after my mega stream. I can't believe it was 9 hours. It was over 9 hours. And I said to somebody that my desire would be to be similar to my grandmother. Now, my grandmother would be there for anyone. She always had a pot of soup on the stove. So it could be someone that hadn't had a meal in ages. She would actually, no fear whatsoever, feed them. And she would do baking for charity. She would be in there sorting out clothes in an opportunity shop. And this woman worked. And when I say worked, she did work for an income when she was before my grandfather died. The two of them worked. And yet she managed to do everything else. And her place was spotless. And I'm thinking, I've got a junk table. Now, I know it's quite common to have a junk table, but she would never have had that. And I'm thinking, I've got so much more things to make my life easier, and yet I still cannot do that. But I focus on what I can. And my grandmother was someone that would listen to anyone's troubles. And the person that I told it to reminded me that that's what I did. I did that as a career as well as once I knocked off. I did it all the time. It was me. And it took another person to remind me that I am close to it. I have a picture of my grandfather in my lounge room to remind me that the pain he endured as a soldier during World War II is much more than the physical pain I'm enduring at the moment. And it's a constant reminder that I have access to U-Butte medications that can actually help me. In my grandfather's time during World War II, there were no medications to ease his pain. Yes, they had aspirin, but during a battlefield, music fantastic. I'm doing a manifestation stream today. How to manifest the life you want. I'm wanting to pass on some of the gifts that I've been given. So if you wish your life to be something, or you wish for something to come into your life, feel free to comment. There is no topic off limits. And Lady Athena, yes, I do believe Trump is rich. So, but how we define rich, it's not always wealth. Everybody knows his name, but is it all for good? Ivana may disagree if it was all for good. And hasn't he had a falling out with one of his children or something? It's like we can pick better role models. Rich and joy, exactly. Like having a happy heart can sometimes be more valuable than the dollars we associate with happiness. That's a good point, Lady Pallas Athena. That's a perfect point. Because my manifestation, is there a materialistic side to it? Yes. And I'm fine with what is materialistic on my manifestation, on my vision board anyway. Manifesting in my life is having enough to cover everything. And I've sort of worked out how much I would need in a year to cover everything. And that's a balance. I've written out like a bank statement, and that balance is never below the amount that I need to live. Like I show comings and goings, but the balance on the fake statement I wrote out was never below what I need to cover everything in a year. And I've been blessed. I really have been. And do I have to work for it? Yeah, I do. But at the same time, I have enough to cover everything. I'm not fantastically wealthy in any way, shape, or form. But I have enough to be able to volunteer my time. I have enough to be part of a community. And what I put on my vision board to be part of a community is wildly fantastic. Nobody would associate it. But where I am in Victoria, we have something called the CFA. It's the Country Fire Authority. It has merged with our normal fire services, but the theory behind the Country Fire Authority was that the community would help each other out during times of bushfire. And it's that community spirit and that helping each other out that excites me. And I've been able to volunteer to raise funds for the Country Fire Authority. And in certain parts of Victoria, it's much needed. But at the moment in Canada, there's been fires, and a group of firefighters from Victoria in Australia went to Canada to help out. That is the Australia I know, that we will jump in wherever it's needed and help out. And so I have a CFA picture. It's not on my vision board. It's on my phone. And it's actually a community-spirited CFA picture. And to me, that actually keeps me grounded. It's like, yes, I volunteer, but the world I want to volunteer in is a community-spirited world. So I had to pick something that was community-spirited. Fortunately, I was able to get a photo of the other things the CFA do. rather than the fight fire thing. Because the other things that they do is they raise money for example, if there's kids that need specific braces on their legs or whatever, the CFA will actually go out and raise money. They will go to retirement villages at Christmas to make sure nobody is alone. And it's that community spirit that is at the deep within my heart, deep within my heart. And imagine if we lived in a world where everybody thought that way. If everybody thought community spirit, like if our community, hello, unique name goes here. We're doing a manifestation stream. So there's no cue, we're just talking manifestation, how to bring about how we want our lives to look. And what I want out of life is different to what anyone else wants. And it varies. There is never a stock standard. Yeah, a lot of people want to be rich, but it's like, how do you define rich? And how do you define what is enough for you? For me, it's very minimal. I am a minimalist person. My streaming, yes, I have bought a few new decks just to be a bit more modern, but most of my tarot decks are the same tarot decks I was using 30 plus years ago when I started. And I just figure if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think I've told the story of me having a 40-year-old television, and someone who used to come and help me out, they were paid for coming to help me out, but a friendship grew and they were moving. And when they moved, they gifted me 2 brand new televisions. Not one, but 2. They didn't think one was enough. And I'm like, there's only me, one's enough. But they were sick of seeing me sitting there with a 40-year-old television. Yes, a really old one, not LCD, not plasma, nothing like that. He was actually surprised that it didn't have a dial knob thing, but to change channels. So he gifted me 2 televisions, and he said, no, you've cooked dinner for me on countless occasions. You've included me in your life. Let me do this for you. Because I thought it was a way big gesture. And had I manifested the gesture? No, I hadn't. I'd manifested something totally different. I had manifested a community that helps each other out. And look what I got in return. I got much more than my wish. So never question how the universe gives you those riches. Just understand that the universe will give, and accept what is given. It may not be your top desire. It may not be 100% what you've wished for. But trust me in this, it will lead you to what you have wished for. And I know I've said it before, volunteering in your community is a fantastic way to get the Look, I'll use a phrase. Volunteering is a fantastic way to get the universe on side. And the universe is non-judgmental. But we're sending out vibrations. It's like a vibrational communication. And if we want to send out a vibration of giving, of receiving, of joy and happiness, volunteering can bring about that vibration in a way it's still a mystery to me, but it does. And it's been a while since I've volunteered, but most of the people that I volunteered with, I'm still in contact with. And those people are part of who I am. They had the same giving generosity. And their giving generosity was contagious. And I feel that sent vibrations up to the universe to then rain down something on me. And yes, as I said, the manifestation stream relies on you guys to input your manifestation dreams. And your manifestation dreams and how to achieve them. And Lady Pallas Athena, I hope you're still feeling that little sparkle that you got when we put things together. Because doing your own artwork, yeah, I hope you're still feeling that sparkle. Because doing your own artwork for the vision board, it gives me goosebumps. It's like, wow, that's just blown me away. And it's got me excited for you. I can actually feel the tingles. So do your own artwork and use people from your own life rather than celebrities. I feel that I know we've had mutual people that we know go through the pain of losing someone, but every time I see like a famous person has passed away, yes, it's shocking because they've been part of our lives, but we haven't been part of theirs other than being a fan. And I always feel a heavy heart, not for the famous person that's passed, even though, yes, I do feel it, but I feel for all the people that have lost somebody on the exact same day and the pain that they're going through without having the recognition. So the universe can be funny in ways like that. Sometimes people don't always get recognition, but we have a chance in our vision boards to give influential people in our lives a chance to influence us, a chance to make our lives better. And I'm not into voodoo dolls. I sort of felt like somebody was thinking that. That's weird. Again, it's revenge. I'm not into voodoo dolls. But manifestation can be a bit like that. Putting a pin in a doll, no. Because the pin you put in will eventually come back and pin you. So, no, I was actually feeling it, Lady Pallas Athena. I wasn't feeling it from you. I would have said that if I was feeling it from you. Yeah, it's karma. But if you put a pin into a voodoo doll expecting music, fantastic. As I said, it's just an open chat today. We're talking manifestation, the laws of attraction. And you don't have to be polite by joining a queue. You can just talk. Yes, I want to pass on some of the blessings I've been given. And I do know the law of attraction does work and manifestation does work. But using myself as an example with what I have been able to manifest is not helping anybody else, because we're all wishing for different things. And wishing for different things isn't a bad thing. Wishing for our lives to look a certain way isn't a bad thing. Our individuality is part of the vision. And our individuality counts for so much. And having faith in that is difficult when past. Now talking about voodoo dolls. Yeah. How do I deal with people who have treated me badly in the past? I've handed it over to the Karma Bus, and I've actually seen the Karma Bus do its work. And yes, if you want to call it the universe, call it the universe. But the more important thing is that we get over the hurt. Yeah, the more important thing is that we get over the hurt. I tend to put them on the Karma Bus in my mind, just a mental imagery of a Karma Bus, because the Karma Bus will choose whether to let them off or not, because there's always the potential that they can do harm to someone else. Yeah, it's not so much getting over it, it's learning how to have it sitting in our past, not our present. So, yeah, I imagine I put them on the Karma Bus. The Karma Bus is constantly driving around, and I let it do its thing, and I've actually seen it work. I've actually experienced it come back to me, but I deserved it. I get on with it. And yeah, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing. But if those pains return, and trust me, when they do return, each time they return, there's a little less sting. But the pains do return. I just have that visual image of a Karma Bus, an actual bus that travels around, and flower petals, welcome in. Oh, I love that. Is that an octopus? We're talking manifestation today. So if you can think of things, yeah, it's a cute octopus. Lady Palace Athena was just saying about the Karma Bus. We can't change things that have traumatized us in the past, that have hurt us in the past. And I actually think some of the things I've gone through in the past have actually made me stronger now. So incorporating that into you builds a stronger you. But wearing it as being your fault, if it is your fault, accept it. I've actually had the Karma Bus revisit me. And I want to say good and bad, because there is good and bad karma. But I've had the Karma Bus revisit me. And I've taken it on board as, okay, I deserved that one. And the only thing I can do, there's no use me lamenting on, having deserved something come back. But learning the lesson from it and not doing it again is why karma is a real thing. If we don't learn that lesson moving forward, then what's the point of karma? And a lot of people talk universal karma, and I always think that we wouldn't be in a physical body. We're a spirit, essentially. The human race is a spirit. We would not be in physical form. We would not have come back to physical form if we weren't meant to learn something or to give something. And I hate the term universal karma, because the essence is we've chosen to come back. Our soul has chosen to come back. Because our soul can learn lessons in the spirit world. But our soul can also choose to learn it in a physical sense. And when we learn it in a physical sense, we're still dealing with I'll get the words right in a minute. We're still dealing with the laws of physics. Yet we choose to come back. We do, as a soul, we do choose to come back. We may not know every single thing that is going to happen on our path's journey, but we will have goalposts that let us know we're on the right track. And for me, that is deja vu. But, Lady Pallas Athena, I hope for your sake it works out the same as what it has in mind. That I'm glad I came back. And I've had some pretty woeful things happen in the past. But letting go of the past is... I wouldn't have been... If I hadn't have experienced things as a child, for example, I would not have been a very good psychologist. I would have been just a book-learnt psychologist. But because I had those experiences in the past, I was able to make real differences in other people's lives. So sometimes what we experience is so we can be a helper. I know it sounds horrible, but we've chosen those goalposts. Before we've come back, the birthing process for mother and baby is traumatic. And we're not meant to know exactly everything, because otherwise what's the point of inhabiting a physical form and going through that experience as a physical form? There's none. There's no point to it. We have to make decisions along the way, but the goalposts we've chosen keep us on track. And if we get off track, the universe steps in. But manifestation can actually happen. And that is even if you've chosen to come back and experience being broke all the time. You can change that. You can say, okay, universe, I was wrong with that one. Money is needed. And you can manifest. Charlie, welcome in. We're doing manifestation day today. So almost finished. But we're talking about how to manifest. And I had said to people, get together what you would like to see on a vision board, or what you envisage your life to be. And also, different questions. I'm open to most questions. Open to most questions. And yes, I'm still doing my shout outs like I usually do, but we can manifest different things. And Lady Pallas Athena, I'm unwrapped for you that you felt that sparkle. I do believe that your manifestations and your openness to experience how to do it is going to really push your life forward. Okay? You just woke up because you had a kind of nightmare and you felt weird but trying to relax. Okay. Well, Charlie, I'm sorry to hear you had a nightmare. But sometimes our nightmares are ways of pointing us in different directions. I know with me, I was manifesting a brilliant career as in a certain industry. And I was really manifesting that career. And it was a nightmare that actually let me know that I needed to adjust. Because you meditate today. Lady Pallas Athena, I had to actually take action to manifest. And remember, you can't have attraction without action. So to attract a career requires some action. And it's the same with attracting anything. If it's emotions, we have to attract that feeling. Attracting that feeling is where a vision board becomes helpful, or where writing it down in a journal becomes helpful. When it comes to career, we have to take action. You can't have your brilliant career come and knock at your front door, because the chances of that happening are very minute. If the career you want requires study, you have to look at, well, how do I make that study happen? And if you're wanting that career, maybe your vision board would have that study on it, or at least a picture of a book for that career, because you would need some sort of certificate for the career. In my case, I did. So I had the picture of the actual university and the diploma being handed over and all of that. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know how the universe was going to deliver. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. And back then, that's all that was on my vision board. And towards exams for the end of my degree, after 9 years, I actually just had the diploma being handed over. I had blew it up, and that was the only thing I had on my vision board, was that diploma, because I became so single-minded. But if it's a different career, if you want to be a chef, for example, there really is no official study to become a chef. You need to work in a restaurant to start with.